I think one of the main things that I would tell my children and anyone else's children is to get to know the rest of your family. Know your cousins, get together with them, share your experiences, and really I think you've got to respect your brothers and sisters. Be open with them and let them do their thing, but stick with them.
Okay. Chrissy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think we all, must because we're brothers and sisters, we sort of think alike. Mine are basically the same. My church became very important to me, I guess, when the Presbyterian church there in Sisseton, when you think of the song, The Little Brown Church,
Yeah.
I think about that church, and I have a lot of good memories there. And church has been very important in my life, in my children's life, thank goodness. Family love, loving your brothers and sisters, and like Bud said, getting together with your cousins, your aunts and your uncles, and then relaying this to your children, how your family lived, the things that we went through. Every family has good times, ups and downs, and how you survive that, how you get through that is very important. And having a good bringing up, a good basic family is the main thing. And my love for the Lord Jesus Christ is very important to me.
Well, I think going back to when our dad was born, 1900, I guess, about.
1898.
Dad and Mother had a good life, and they tried to raise us kids as well as they could. Times were tough, and things were difficult. When it comes to my family, we tried to teach our kids never to lie, and never, ever show any disrespect for their mother. I'm sorry.
Well, I think we can tell from just listening to you how important it is to each of you to be together and to share this time with your families. Obviously, we wish all the rest of the family could be here with us today. And at the next reunion, maybe we can do something like this again. But I think what you've shared with us, we can share with our families and pass on, and they'll get to know you better, and they'll get to know more about how the Blair family grew up, how we got to where we are today, and what we're thinking today. And so,
another time, do you think we could get Betty in on this?
You bet.
Yeah, because I really feel bad that she's not here. I do too.
We certainly can include her, and we can, again, I'm going to make copies of this, and we'll insert statements by Betty later, which is very easy to do.
Yes, because
So you have to be sure to wear the same clothes. You have to be sure to wear the same clothes to the next reunion.
I can't remember what yesterday was. How am I going to remember that?
So she can explain why she wasn't here, or that she wasn't here, because she's got to be.
Yeah.
I got to get one more little shot in here.
Fire away.
My wife and I are going to celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow.
That's right.
It was actually the 30th of January, 1992, but this is the first opportunity we've had to get together with the rest of our family and our kids.
That's right.
And,
It'll be a great day. Yes, it'll be a good day.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
And about, how many, 2 years ago, we had another great day with our sisters and Kenneth, who
Yes.
we all missed. Yeah.
Why don't you make some opening remarks about what's the date today?
Oh,
Where are we?
today is August 5th, 1995, and this is the annual Blair reunion in Illinois. This year we're in Bloomington, Normal. We're out at the Normal Park.
Everybody's at Normal.
Yeah. With everybody's at Normal. There's swimming and a water slide and things for the kids to play on, and good food and wonderful relatives,
And
it's
to
just so
those
good
of
to
you
see.
who aren't with us,
And to those of you who aren't with us, we wish you were here.
there you go.
Love to all.
Very good.
Red's got a camera over there. Who's getting it? Oh, I see it. Is this yours? Rich is getting it.
I don't know.
I just
Try to focus.
I just get I don't know.
Yeah, I must be it.
Okay. Oh, here's one.
Right there.
I feel like Martha, he's gonna focus. He's recording everything we say, too.
That's right. You in particular.
Get your face right. Say that. Hi, everybody. This is August the 5th, 1995, and we're having our annual Illinois family reunion here in the park in Normal. The Blair family reunion. It's such a gorgeous day. We prayed for nice weather. It's just been so hot, and our prayers were answered. We're all just having a great time. It's just so good to be together with the family. We're all here, all the brothers and sisters, and some of our families. And Betty and Florence from South Dakota are both here. And we're just so glad. And Raleigh. And we're just so glad that they're all here. Okay?
It's your show.
Well, are you still on?
Yes.
Okay, since Betty wasn't with us, is it 2 years ago?
3.
3 years ago, we were in Belvedere, and Betty was unable to join us. She's here today, and we're going to turn it over to her and let her start with her earliest memories, no matter if it was South Dakota, Minnesota, or where.
My earliest memories are of the Sweden place that we lived on. No, before that we lived in town, and I remember living in a small house in the northwest part of Sisseton. It was a small house. Grandpa Shilston owned it, and we lived with him for a while. I don't know how long. The really earliest thing I can remember is going with Bud up to the dump and picking up a crib, a white painted crib. And I don't know, I suppose it was for Bobby. I am not sure. And we carried it home. And then I also remember being in kindergarten the last year we lived in Sisseton. And
I didn't know they had kindergarten.
yes, even that many years ago.
I don't remember there being kindergarten when I was in school either.
Well, you weren't there.
No, I mean, even when I was old enough to go to school. I really
Anyhow, I
don't
went to
remember that.
kindergarten, and
That's
then we
because
moved.
we lived in town.
Yeah, then we moved to the Sweden place. And
Sweetland.
oh, Sweetland. Okay, I don't remember that. Anyhow, we lived out there for 1 year, and I went to first grade there. And I can remember some kid we went to school, and I remember some kid, I'm not sure, but I thought it was Daryl, up in a tree, or under the tree, and somebody dropped an egg on his head, and it was supposed to be hard-boiled.
Then it weren't.
Oh, it wasn't. Now, that's possible that that's not really true. I just remember it slightly.
It hasn't gotten any better for me since.
No respect.
Yeah, and I remember Dugan being not a very nice boy in school at times, and he had to sit with a girl at a double desk. Oh, he hated that at the time.
He was young.
He got over that, you know.
I remember playing anti-eye over the barn at that school. And that's all I remember about that place, except for the orchard. Had a beautiful orchard there.
Do you recall riding horseback there?
No. Oh, I never rode horseback there as far as I know anyway.
Well, the one thing I remember that the kids would ride, we had some old plugs to ride, I suppose. Do you remember that? And you rode out under, you rode out under a tree?
Oh, yeah.
Tell
Well,
that.
that was Harold DeMars,
Oh.
which is second or third or fourth president. I don't remember just which. And there was another kid from town, his name was Willis Bibby Christiansen.
Christensen, yes.
So Harold and I, we had the fastest horses, and this Bibby Christiansen had an old clunker. Well, we knew where there was a branch that come way down, you know, about horses head high. And we got him in the middle. We were going to have a race. And we got going down that little lane, and at the right time, why we kind of squeezed together, and Willis went under the branch, and Harold and I zipped out to both sides, and Willis threw up his arms to ward off the tree, and it caught him right across here, and he went out and just come down with the plunk. Yeah, we had quite a time. But I remember another horseback riding story. Dad was quite a horse trader, and he traded horses with a guy that he worked with in WPA or BWA or whatever, and it was about a 3 or 4 year old gelding, and he was broke but not very good. And this pasture that we had on the Sweetland farm had rocks the size of automobiles sprinkled around in it, and various other sized rocks. And Dwayne and Bud, or Morris, were riding old Dolly, and they were getting ahead of him. And
That would never do.
I remembered I had borrowed the tie-up reins from Dad's harness to control his horse with. And they were long, about 7 or 8 foot long. And I took the extra part of the line and I slapped that horse across the rump. And that goddamn horse stuck his front feet in the ground and his ass come up and no chance to hang on. It was just gone. No wonder I didn't hit a rock and break my head over. But it was all in fun. Nobody got hurt.
Well, I remember one time at the Sweetland place, I don't know why, but everybody went into town except Mother and me. And I suppose maybe you, I don't know, were you born yet then?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I lived
I was born when
remember
we moved out
something.
there.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, I was the three of us then must have stayed home with Mother, and they went into town, I think, to get water. And when they came home, it was really a hot day, and Mother made lemonade out of that, what kind of water is that? Artesian water.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, it was just delicious, but I don't think any of us, if we knew that it was made out of artesian water, would have drunk it.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
And I remember...
What was wrong with artesian water?
Very
Oh,
salty.
It's a salty water.
It's got
Alkaline.
quite a bit of stuff in it, and if you drink a lot of it, it turns your teeth brown.
Wow.
A lot of minerals in it.
Okay.
And also, I remember coming home from school, and Dad was out plowing, and we took off our shoes and socks and walked along in the furrow behind the plow. Oh, that was such wonderful fun.
Yeah. Didn't take much in those days. Cool on the feet.
Yeah, and one time, Dugan, I think it was, had a piece of rope, and I had a hold of both ends of the rope, and I was being the horse. And he was being the driver holding on to the middle of the rope. And, giddy up, you know. And I'd go, and pretty soon I'd stop, and he'd tell me to go again, and we kept on going like that. And I stepped on a piece of glass, and I still have a scar under my foot where I stepped on a piece of glass.
And in those days, we didn't go to the doctor.
Oh,
You know.
No.
You had to cut the foot off to get to the doctor.
That's right.
I remember I had a really bad cut, and they poured kerosene on my open wound, and that was to take out, any what do you call
The
it?
infection.
Infection.
Yeah.
And it worked. I never got.
Yes, good cleaner.
Didn't that happen at the Bakers?
Yes, Bud Baker's farm up by Clear City.
You'd stepped on something.
We were
then I
going out to swim, and on the way to it was a, what do you call it? Slough.
Yeah.
Al gets such a kick out of me saying slough. It was on the way to the slough to go swimming, and there was a spike sticking out of the ground, a metal spike. What it was doing there, I don't know, real sharp. And I foot just slid right down the side of it. I still have it.
I remember that.
And I remember on the Cahill place where we used to go out in Dad's machine shop and get a lath,
Oh, yeah.
drill a hole in the end of it, put a piece of twine through it, and then have it between our legs, and that was our horse.
Sticklers.
Straddler. Stick horse, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, did we have a lot of fun. Then we used to go over across the road in the, whoever owned the land across the road had a wheat field, I believe, over there. And we used to go over there and flatten down the wheat and make rooms for a house.
Didn't have trees.
I'm sure they appreciated that.
Oh, sure they did.
The trees were about a half a mile.
Oh, yeah, they
south.
were a
You
long
have to tell
ways.
about that.
Yeah.
Where we used to go down and somebody built a house.
Yeah,
I did.
Built a tree house.
Built a tree house
Tree
about
house
a half
down
a mile away. Yeah.
This is in,
Just south of us.
it was kind of a low ground. It was a bunch of willow trees, big willow trees.
Yeah.
Stabbing
Yeah.
Brothers owned that chunk of property.
Yeah,
Oh, did
Stabbing
they?
Brothers.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was a neat place to go and play.
Yeah, it was shady down
Now,
there.
how old were you at this time?
Let's see. We were
Well, I
probably, we moved there when I was probably first grade.
I was
I
about
was in
10.
second grade, so
Maybe I would have been
You
a
weren't
little bit
as
Oh,
younger.
close.
1936, I think.
1936?
yeah, I would have been in second grade. Because I went to first grade at the Sweetland place. And, oh, I remember one time I got so mad at this sister of mine.
Oh! Oh, it was?
That's the only time I remember. At the moment. We were outside playing and always had a hay rack in front of the barn there where there was an upstairs.
We jumped out of the hay
Yeah,
mound.
and there was always a hay rack parked there, and the tongue of hay rack went out, in the front of it. And we were playing, and I was running in front of her. I don't know if she was chasing me or what, and I tripped over the tongue of hay rack. Went right down on my stomach, lost all my air. I couldn't speak. And I tried to get her to go in and tell Helen.
She wanted
to come out and help me, and she wouldn't do it. Oh, I was so mad at you.
Well, because you think we're doing it.
Yeah.
And she couldn't even yell at you.
Gosh, she couldn't even yell for help.
Helen.
We were
Well, that story.
talking to, me and Florence were talking a little while ago, and I was telling her, reminiscing a little of her childhood, and we were talking about the two Uncle Johns. There was Uncle Little John and Uncle Big John out in Minnesota.
Stelton, both named Stelton.
Stelton, yes. And of course, over to Big John's, there was Norbert, my cousin Norbert, and these guys, and Isabel, and then I had another cousin, Ruby. We were all the same age. We were all born within about 6 months. And every time I'd go over to Big John's, of course, everybody had a big time. Big John was a boozer.
He didn't have anything to do with those stills, did he?
Yes,
No, not he.
This was beer.
This was beer.
He was a beer connoisseur.
Yeah.
All right.
Because he made it.
Yeah, he made home brew.
Homebrew.
So they always they run water through the tank, cold water for the cattle, and that's where they'd cool the beer. So, of course, Norbert and Isabel, they knew all about that. So,
Well, they lived there.
yeah, they lived there. That was the kids. And so down in the far side of the yard, there was an open shed, open on one side, and there was a couple buggies. And us kids used to go back in there, and we'd play like we were driving to town and all this stuff. And of course, Norbert and Isabel, they'd sneak up to the horse tank and get beer. Then they'd drink it down, and we'd drink about half of it, and then we'd fill it with water and put it back. Oh, that was great sport.
You like to go to their house.
Yeah, we had a good time. Then another time, at this Norbert and Isabel, we'd snuck out behind the outhouse with the weeds out there, and Norbert said, well, let's get something to smoke. They like to smoke. We were probably about 6, 8 years old. And he went in the house and got some coffee. and he rolled it up in newspaper.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. Yeah, coffee grounds. Yeah, he lit it up. He lit one up, and of course, right away it wasn't very tight, you know. So right away the dome just fell out, and it fell on Isabel's arm, and she got burned. So she goes in and tackles him. So then Aunt Cora come out and spanked them both. Oh, what a time. We had some good times down there, I'll tell you.
Dad, you were going to say something earlier?
Well, Betty was talking about losing her breath, her hair. This Sweetland farm had a beautiful barn on it, a horseshoe roof barn.
That's one of the things I can remember
Yeah,
about
it was a nice barn. And they used the hay rope to pull the hay up into the barn, of course. That also let the barn door down so you could open the door to get the hay in and whatever. But when they tied up that, when they brought the door up the last time, they tied that rope up. They made a double knot or something up there off in the track so that the door wouldn't come open. Well, somebody or some way had loosened the rope, and the rope come clear down to the floor. Now, when I say the floor, that was about 35 or 40 feet up to the track. Well, there was a bunch of kids come out one Sunday, and it was a kind of a normal thing to have Kool-Aid and cookies or cake or something for lunch. So Mother came to out the back of the house and hollered toward the barn, lunch is ready. And it had been my turn to grab that rope and hang on to it with your hands, and all the rest of them kids pulled up the slack in the rope. Well, there I am, 35, 40 feet up there. And when she hollered, lunch is ready, every doggone one of them went loose of that rope and headed for the way down the stairs. And they were running on the floor, and it made so much noise, they never heard me hit the floor. I couldn't even holler for help.
Like Betty.
Right flat on my back.
Knocked the wind completely out of him.
Awful feeling.
No wonder it didn't kill me.
Break every bone.
Well, if you landed on your back that way, it just knocked the air out of you. And
Yeah.
if you landed on your arm, it probably would have broken, sure. Yeah.
I also remember, of course, we were very poor. Everybody we knew was poor.
All in the same boat.
Yeah, and at the Christmas break, everybody was going to bring their new toy to school, the first day of school. Well, it turned out that most of the girls were going to bring dolls, and we knew it. Well, I didn't get a new doll for Christmas. And Mother took one of her dresses. I can remember that it was a beautiful beige color. Cut it down and made a doll dress for an old doll. And that's what I took to school. I was so proud of that doll. Yes. And also one year, this was after Mother was gone, I'm sure. One of the things I remember getting for Christmas was a toy soldier, a tin soldier. Now, why I got a tin soldier, I don't know. And then one year,
The luck of the draw.
we were had all the Christmas presents were stacked in the girls' bedrooms. So there was only 2 bedrooms in that house. All the toys were stacked in the ladies' and girls' bedroom. Helen was in one bed, and you and I were, Tootsie and I were in another one. And they were all wrapped in tissue paper, and you know you can see through tissue paper. If
You
really
didn't
look.
cry in the corner.
Somebody looked.
Who did that?
I know what we're getting for Christmas.
We're getting a box of Kleenex. We were thrilled. Oh, you didn't have to use old snot rags.
I didn't remember that.
Of course you wouldn't.
Times were pretty tough.
Yes, they were.
And to you young people that will watch this later, you can't imagine. You just can't imagine how poor we were.
You really can't. But everybody
What did you
knew
have
it
for
was.
breakfast, for instance? What was your
Oatmeal.
breakfast, lunch,
Oatmeal.
and dinner like?
Oatmeal.
Well, what I was
pancakes.
going to say is the reason that we can talk and laugh about it now, I think it was good for us because actually we did not realize what we were missing.
Yeah.
We didn't have television. We didn't have radio. Oh, well, we kind of
they
had
weren't,
radio.
They weren't invented yet.
And
We weren't
all
really
these-
missing much because it wasn't available.
We never saw the newspaper. You know, it was just us and people in the community. We didn't realize what we were missing.
So did you like go to town on Sunday and that was your
Saturday night.
Saturday night?
Saturday night.
We
Oh,
did
this
have
I
a
have to
telephone.
tell.
Oh, tell us
Yeah,
about some
we-
Saturday night.
We did, I
I'll
did
tell
have
you
to.
how I met my husband on Saturday
Well, let's
night.
do.
First, let me tell mine.
Gladly.
Mother and Dad sat in the front seat of the car, and all of us kids sat in the back. And as we drove into town, our dad, took the cream into the place and left it there.
No.
No, it
Wes
was
and Irene Lang.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah, and
cream station.
as he was going in, well, he was already in the place, Mother turned around and said, "Don't any of you kids dare to ask for any money because we haven't got any." Okay, Dad came back out. Dugan says, "Dad, can I have a nickel?" And Mother went, whack! Needless to say, we didn't any of us get our nickel.
But then you could buy a whole package of gum for a penny at that
That's
time.
right.
Five
Yes.
sticks. I remember because I'm a gum chewer.
Yeah.
Way back.
Betty and I are too.
Yeah.
Our favorite brother-in-law.
Yes. I'm sure.
Tell them about that.
Yeah. When Kenneth would come to call on Florence, he'd drive up into the yard, and of course the cars in those days had running boards. And well, I don't know if he always just stayed out in the car or if he came in sometimes. I suppose sometimes both. Anyhow, he was in the car, and Tootsie and Bobby and I would go and sit on the running board of the car. And one of us, not always the same one, would say, "I sure wish I had some gum." And of course, Kenneth always had some.
Oh yeah. He probably stocked up before he came
Yeah.
out there. You
I'll
know.
tell.
Well, it would be kind of neat if we each told how we met our mates.
That would be
A
pretty
little
neat.
bit about it. And I will start. I worked in the corner store, Kittleston store. Well, I worked for the people that owned it had what they called took in transients upstairs, and they had a boy. I suppose I was probably a junior in high school or senior maybe, and this boy was about 6 years old or something like that. So I kind of babysat because they both worked downstairs in the store and lived upstairs, and so this particular Saturday night when the store closed, I started walking up the street, and here sat this really neat Ford coupe with a rumble seat.
And what's a rumble seat?
It's a little, it opens up like, what would you say? Like where your trunk is. Yeah, the
Reverse
trunk,
of
where
the trunk.
it was shaped so that it was like this, and it came down, then it kind of was rounding like this, and this rounding part would come up, and that was the back of your head, then that was the thing, and you sat down in there. Well, Kenneth was in the driving seat, and there was a girl in the middle, and Kenneth's best friend was his girlfriend, I guess. His friend's girlfriend, and I knew her. As I walked by, she called me over and says, I would like you to meet my friends. So she introduced me to Kenneth and Skinny. And that's how I met him. He didn't have a chance after that. But I'm not kidding. It was love at first sight. Right. Daryl?
Well, it's been so long ago, I don't hardly remember how. But we used to go on Saturday evening and Monday night and Wednesday night. They had dances at the, what was the name
Spring
of it?
Grove.
Spring
nightclub?
Grove
Nightclub.
Nightclub. It was the only place for miles and miles around that you could go and go to a dance where it was, well, they had police on hand, and there was never much rowdiness. Once in a while, there'd be a
A lot of drinking.
Yeah, there'd be a scrap out in the parking lot.
The
or whatever.
George brothers.
Yes,
The George
always.
brothers.
Well, anyway, cost a quarter to get in, and sometimes I could scare up a quarter to go. And Esther was out there that one night when we went in there. That was a modern dance on Saturday evening. They always had a band, and this was a fun time.
The good 40s music, really
Yeah.
danceable music. Yeah.
And I kind of eyeballed Esther, and I thought, well, that looks pretty nice. I think maybe I'll try that. So I went over and I says, well, would you care to dance? And we danced the rest of the night. And that was basically the start of Esther and I in our married life. A couple of years later, I guess. But I never had another girlfriend. And I don't think she ever had another boyfriend in that whole time. She was still in high school when I met her the first time. But it has it's been a purely enjoyable time ever since. Couldn't have got a better one if I'd have.
Amen.
Amen.
Who's next? Who's next?
But
Yeah, well, Phyllis and me met quite under the same circumstances almost. I came out to Illinois with Daryl and Esther in 1948, and during that winter they had a place out called Rainbow Gardens at Belvedere, and it was a good place. They had good bands. They had police there too, the same way, and it was pretty well kept under control. Once in a while, same way, you'd get a scrap or a fight, but it was pretty decent place. And I think, if I remember right, Dwayne danced with her first, and I don't know if they ever dated. I don't think so. They might have, but after Dwayne passed away of his accident, Phyllis and this other girl used to come out there together quite a bit, and I started dating her, and we fell in love, and we got married the same way, just about like Daryl, and had no regrets whatsoever. We've had a good life.
Betty.
okay, I of course live in Watertown, South Dakota, and I moved to Watertown when I was 16 and started working, and Round got out of the service that same year, I believe. Anyhow, or no, he got out of the service in 47, and the way that they did things then, nobody had any money, so a bunch of guys would pile into one car, and a bunch of girls would find some guy who would drive them. We went in two separate cars to a place called Kransburg, South Dakota, which is 9 miles east of Watertown. And then everybody would pay for their own drinks, so the guys didn't have to try to treat the girls. And Round happened to be one of the lucky fellows. And he does not dance. He still doesn't dance, but he claims that he is quite an intermissionary. But anyhow, I rode home on his lap in a car.
Not on a horse, huh?
No. And a year later, we got married, and I've been happy ever since. And hopefully he has too.
I think so. Chrissy?
That's it.
I met Al in Belvedere. Came out to Belvedere and stayed with Daryl and Esther, and got a job at the General telephone company. And this was like in the fall. And around Christmas time, the phone company had a dance, get together, a dinner and a dance. And so I went with Bud and Phyllis, and because Phyllis worked for the phone company then, and she knew Al. Al worked in the same office that she worked in. And the dance was held upstairs. Now you guys will have to help me with the place, but it was upstairs above a building that there was a mobile home.
Yes, the one down by the park.
Yeah, whatever that was
But
called.
that was their meeting hall, and they had the laundry room below.
Yeah, it was up
And then they
above
had a big
there.
open building up above where they could all meet if they wanted
Yeah,
to. Yeah.
and that's where the dance was. And Phyllis introduced Al, and he was with Paul. What was Paul? I'm not sure about. I can't remember his last
Can't
name.
either.
Anyway, they were good buddies, and they both worked for the phone company. And I danced with both of them, and Al asked me out for a date, later, and he cusses those Christmas parties ever since.
Yeah.
Very good. Bobby?
Yeah, I met Annie through her dad. Back when I was growing up, they used to have what they called thrashing runs. Farmers in the area would get together and do their crops. At that time, they did them in bundles, and you hauled the bundles in and thrashed them, hauled the grain down, whatever. And he was looking for some help, and that's how I met her. He came and asked me if I would come to work for him, which I did. And through that, and through 2 years of dating, we finally got married.
Right.
So it's
Where did
pretty
they
good.
live, Bob?
They lived about 5 miles east and a mile and a half south of Siskin.
So from where the Cahill farm was,
They'd have been 2 miles east and a half mile south.
No, Bob.
on the same road the schoolhouse was on?
You went straight to the end of that road. It would
Okay.
dead end there. The Duvenhagers lived at the end of that road, if you
Okay.
remember.
Yeah,
Ann's folks lived a half a mile south of where the
Okay.
Duvenhagers lived.
because I always knew kind of generally where that was. But I never
They went to
forget.
the school with the Hilbergs and the Duvenhagers
yeah.
Yeah.
and all of those people.
Bob, that's not the way I heard that story, how you met your wife.
Are we really going to go into this?
I think it should be gone into.
Ann told me this herself.
Oh, you heard this from
She
Ann?
said,
Okay, wait. We're out of battery here.
Oh.
Oh no, it's still going. Keep
Saved
going.
by the battery.
Keep going.
Annie told me that you came down there to haul bundles for her dad,
Yep,
thrashing rig or whatever.
that's how I met her.
And Ann has 2 sisters. Are
Yeah.
they both younger or older?
One's older and one's younger.
Okay. Annie was in the kitchen or one of the windows in the house, and she looked out there and she saw that handsome young man. And she turned to her sisters and said, "He's mine."
That could have happened.
They ganged up on you.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I don't think either one of us ever dated anyone else after that, after we met. Not that I could ever remember.
No, Kenneth and I either. I don't think. Well, I know he didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I know I
I
didn't
remember
either.
if I did.
Missy, we're gonna run out of battery. Do you want to say something to close it out?
Oh, this has just been wonderful. We're
it
so
has.
glad to have Betty here with us to join in. All these reminiscing, and it's just wonderful. And when one remembers one thing, that makes somebody else remember. And Al, we want to thank you
Absolutely.
for doing this for us. It's just been great because you often talk of doing these things, but you don't very often get together and do it. And it's been just great. Just been such a beautiful day.
Super. Glad you're all here.